There's a quiet, alluring sensation that I always feel when presented with a space adventure that I can't quite explain. Despite this feeling, I've also yet to find a space game that thoroughly scratches the itch that I seem to want fulfilled. Everspace 2 popped up for me on Steam, and I was instantly drawn in from the first image I saw. At first glance, it seemed to be a gorgeous, fast-paced spaceship shooter full of combat and exploration, and feelings of wanting to explore a universe with nothing but my vessel to accompany me began to swell. When I saw that the game was on Game Pass, I figured I had to check it out, and sure enough, I wasn't disappointed. Everspace 2 is a sequel to Everspace, originally a space combat roguelike, with the narrative vehicle being that you're a clone of a man named Adam Roslin as the result of a secret illegal cloning project. However, Everspace 2 is a slight departure, instead being an open-world space adventure game that builds on the mechanics and narrative of the original game. In this sequel, you play as the same clone of Adam Roslin, trying to make a life for himself, free of the shackles of the events in the original Everspace. I was worried that not having played the first game would affect my enjoyment of the sequel, but I can wholeheartedly say that it did not. The storytelling is well executed to the point that questions I had were answered well enough that I felt I had the full picture and was fully absorbed in the events of Everspace 2. The game opens with Adam currently on a job to protect a team of miners from potential threats as they gather resources from an asteroid. After investigating the mine, the group becomes victim of an organized outlaw attack, and Adam's friend Ben is gravely injured just before they are captured and imprisoned by the outlaws. From here, Adam is introduced to another prisoner, Dax, just before the hideout is attacked by the colonial fleet, led by Commissioner Hawk, who aims to capture Adam. During the chaos of the attack, Dax and Adam manage to escape their cell and rescue Ben, still in critical condition, before stealing ships to escape the facility. From here, the events of the rest of the game are set in motion, starting with locating medical assistance for Ben. The primary gameplay in Everspace 2 is navigating various star systems in the Demilitarized Zone, or DMZ, in your spaceship. There are various star systems that you're able to explore as you progress through the game, and travel between systems must be done with specific jump gates that you need to gain access to use. Exploration is functionally divided into two segments, traveling through superlight across a star system, and freely navigating defined areas within the star system. During superlight travel, you will encounter optional signals that represent random encounters ranging from helping a fellow space traveler or clearing outlaw bases and traps. There is an incredibly engaging freedom of movement, being able to accelerate, rotate, and hover in all directions, all at the same time. The ship control significantly added to my immersion in the game, and navigating giant asteroids or fields of wreckage while seamlessly rotating and maneuvering your ship nails the feeling of what I've always imagined space travel to be. There's also a loot and gear system in Everspace 2 that includes weapons, consumables, rare components, new colors and cosmetic modules for different wings, cockpits, and engines for your ship that can all be found in containers or dropped by defeated enemies. There are also various crystals and ore that can be mined from deposits in various explorable areas. Adding even more things to collect are extra challenges tracked in the menus to unlock new engine flare colors and exploration challenges to increase superlight travel speed in specific star systems. These resources feed into a crafting and dismantling system that provides a means of making or upgrading equipment or crafting rare components. While the breadth of resources can seem cumbersome, they are kept in a separate crafting inventory and are also used for unlocking companion perks that provide various bonuses as you meet more friendly characters. You begin the game with a balanced ship, but are later able to purchase new ships across various ship classes with different stats and abilities. There are combat-focused ships, such as gunships with increased weapon output, and speed-focused ships, such as scouts that prioritize speed, handling, and stealth. Each ship has a unique ability that is specific to the classification, and an ultimate skill that charges as you defeat enemies. Each ship also has a unique number of slots for consumables, devices, and weapons, but will always have the same number of slots for various modules that increase the stats and performance of your ship. Combat in Everspace 2 is straightforward, navigating your ship while chasing and evading enemy ships. There are two different types of damage and several weapon types to take advantage of them. Energy damage is primarily used against enemy shields, and kinetic damage is primarily used against a ship's armor and hull. The primary weapon types vary from blasters and explosive cannons to railguns and energy beams that all lend themselves either to close or long-range combat. Primary weapons have a defined maximum range, amount of weapon energy, and energy consumption rate. You're able to switch weapons if your ship has multiple weapon slots, and weapon energy recharges over time. Secondary weapons have a limited ammo capacity but can be refilled at hangars using credits or through various equipment passives or ship devices if you're lucky enough to find them. Ship devices provide various skills with cooldowns to help give you a strategic advantage. There are warfare devices that provide offensive advantages such as a tactical EMP, or support devices like a boost that can help you quickly get out of sticky situations. Defeating enemies and completing quests earn you loot, credits, and experience points that raise your overall level and ship stats. Every 5 levels, you're able to select one of 3 unique tiered perks, but you're able to reselect these perks at any station or hangar, as well as customize your ship with unlocked colors and modules. I was very impressed with Everspace 2 straight away. The controls were smooth, and the beautifully rendered areas and environments were captivating. But that doesn't mean Everspace 2 doesn't have occasional problems. The fact that the game is entirely based around flying your spaceship is the game's greatest strength, but it also reveals a weakness when traversing areas and star systems. Initially, the only method to travel between areas and systems is to fly via superlight and through connecting jump gates. As more and more of the game opens up, you spend more and more time in superlight traveling between systems. The exploration challenge rewards for each system help abate the drudgery, and later in the game, one of your companions provides a means of fast traveling between systems. But even with these additions, the breadth of explorable systems in Everspace 2 delicately dances on the line of being too much. Exploration out of superlight also wasn't immune to feelings of apathy in some cases. Because you're able to move in all directions in a large 3-dimensional space, it can at times be challenging to find specific areas of interest across massive floating asteroids, expanses of wreckage, or mountainous terrain. The size of some areas was occasionally too impressive, and I would decide to leave areas early to avoid flying aimlessly around asteroids or getting lost in caves. This is somewhat mitigated by the sensor module of your ship that will mark points of interest as you get near them, but the range is still short enough that flying around wreckage and asteroids doesn't always reveal everything, and I would sometimes be left circling areas hoping to find what I'm looking for. Another pain point that arose was at higher levels, combat scales on a much steeper curve than earlier levels. There were occasional instances where I would engage in combat and be met with an almost oppressive level of difficulty despite the enemies being only 2 levels above my own, but I had no way of knowing that without first engaging. There also feels to be a lack of evasive options in terms of piloting your spaceship, the only real option for disengagement being the energized boost device that quickly propels you forward and away from other ships, giving you time to breathe and recharge shields before rinsing and repeating. And one final pain point for me was that during the final mission in the game, your onboard AI overclocks your engines and disables your devices so that you can, for a limited time, boost and fire your weapons indefinitely. However, due to either the intentional design of the developers or the specific class of ship that I was piloting, I was unable to get within range of the final target to deal any damage with my primary weapons, and was stuck following the target, unable to do anything until time expired and I failed the mission. I feared that I would have to restart the multi-phased final mission because I didn't have a weapon with enough range, but luckily I collected myself enough to recall that crafting is accessible at any point and was able to craft a longer range primary weapon. While the situation could be viewed as an unfortunate coincidence, this type of situation never arose anywhere else, even during other missions where you're forced to overclock your engines, and it certainly did sour the climax of the game. But overall, Everspace 2 was an impressive game that really allows you to live the spaceship fighter pilot fantasy. While it isn't immune to some of the issues that most modern open-world adventure games propagate, it does execute spaceship control and combat in the best way that I have personally experienced. There are various activities that you can busy yourself with that you would hope to find in a space exploration adventure, and I can't really say I wish there was anything else included. While the price may seem a bit steep, I'd say it's still worth every penny. Thanks for watching, take care, and remember, keep having fun.